Hi, everyone, and welcome to this week's weekly RV report, first of the year for Friday, January 9th, 2026. And the beat goes on. Thank you for tuning in and joining us, and thank you for being faithful to the channel. If you are new to the channel, please do like, subscribe, and share, as it helps the channel grow and others to gain in the knowledge that you're currently being afforded. As you know, I'm not a financial advisor, nor does this report constitute financial advice. It's merely quality information for you to use for your own personal discernmental authority. And as always, take everything that we share with you to the Lord and let him either confirm, adjust, or correct your discernment accordingly. I'm going to go easy on you this week because we've done a lot of shows and articles. Excuse me. So we're just going to kind of go through a reprise we normally do. In the nation of Iraq, as we discussed on the Nick Venyamin and Sandy Miraki podcast, respectively, Iraq is poised to be one of the top 4 oil-producing nations within the Middle East. This will go a long way into reducing energy costs here in America, just as we are working with Venezuela and many other nations, including Iraq. This will drive down food and energy costs here in America in order to counteract the inflation while we are in the process of removing the private Western central banking system. So that parallel economy that we're always talking about. Notice how the U.S. and Iraq copy each other in many ways. Iraq calls itself the Republic of Iraq, and once we restore the constitutional republic, most likely on July 4th, we will change our name from the United States of America to the Republic of Iraq. There have been some discussion points out there from some other good podcasters about Iraq setting its budget this year to 1,300 dinars. Honestly, folks, it's meaningless because, as we've reported to you many times in the past, the real rate of the dinar is not in the budget or posted in the Gazette or anything public Forex at the moment. It's hidden within their private sector, aka the Ministry of Planning. Once that is revealed within the grave surrender that we're going to talk about in a minute, then everything changes wholesale. With respect to Vietnam, we also showed articles on Nick and Sandy's podcast. Vietnam has experienced an 8.02 GDP growth in 2025 for their respective economy, while most of the rest of the nations of Asia gained between 2 and 5%. That's a third higher than all the other Asian nations. That is a significant differential. And remember, all the Brent crude oil that they have within their oceans, meaning Vietnam, not to mention copious amounts of gold and silver in the ground that they never talk about, including a robust workforce and an excellent textile industry as well. 65 to 70%, it's estimated, of the companies that occupy China have now migrated over to Vietnam to house their corporations, and it's easy to see why. In the other section, we all know the importance and the implications about the recent situation in Venezuela. But what many are not considering is what happened this week in Greece. The entire airport and most of the country was shut down, no flights in or out. What's next to Greece? Cyprus. And what's nearby that? Iran. We have a lot of military bases within those respective areas. Iran is in a massive free fall, as you all know, with a 50% drop to their Iranian rial / Toman currency, depending if you're in or out of the country, along with a nearly 2-week protest ongoing within the streets. They're on the brink of war with either America or Israel. We need to be praying against that, obviously, but it's also, once again, a foretelling of the late, great Kim Clement's prophecy, wars and rumors of wars, and ultimately the grave surrender of Iran, which means the release of Iraq. President Trump is extricating the Iranian corrupt factions out of Iraq, specifically in the Green Zone Parliament, and the most prominent notorious corrupt group of Iran, the mullahs, is exiling to Russia or someplace else. Sounds a lot like BRICS, doesn't it? Because remember, Iran and Russia are part of BRICS. Everything is converging and the pieces are continuing to come together in an expedited fashion. Also said today is a significant event. The Supreme Court is set to rule on tariffs and viability of what President Trump is doing, which is completely constitutional. This we know. And we know that a lot of those Supreme Court members are corrupt and illegally installed, just like a lot of the politricians. But that's all coming out in the wash now in the justice movement, as well as the financial or global reset, to be precise. If they should rule against the president temporarily, watch for the stock market and the crypto markets to absolutely start to tank. This is why you should have your buy, sell limit orders for things like XRP, oil, et cetera. See what Zion Oil and Gas is doing. It's been going up precipitously. It's almost up 15 to 20%. I've looked at my portfolio this week, and I can see it going up and up and up. So it's telling us a pretty clear story of the changes that are happening. But he can use Article 232 as well in the Federal Reserve. We talked about that months ago, as did X22. President Trump has many pathways to zig if they zag so that he can ensure to continue to use the tariffs. This will only slow it down a little bit. He will continue to move forward with the plan as he transitions the parallel economy. And remember, these false flags and these significant movements are necessary for where we all are aspiring and knowing that we will be here excuse me, in the not too distant future. Turning our attention to precious metals commodities, as would be normally the hot topic at the time of this broadcast, based on pricing from the future market. So silver is currently trading up at $79.20, making its way back to all-time highs. I believe it was 81.30 was the all-time high after Christmas. It's up about 5.4% for the week. Gold is trading up at $4,508.80. At 1.1% increase for the week. Crude oil is up slightly to $58.95. Again, that will continue to come down in all this. And the dollar index is holding steady again for optics at 98.50. But again, the dollar has little to no purchasing power, so it's just a matter of time before the public sees that. And as we always do for posterity at the time of this broadcast, which is roughly 9 o'clock Pacific time on Friday, so you know when this was recorded, for accuracy of the numbers. We always like to be transparent whenever possible. That does it for now for this report for the week, first one of the year. As always, if anything urgent comes up and breaking news, we'll bring it to you post haste. Thank you for your support and watching. We appreciate your time. God bless. Take care. Goodbye for now.